Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. A couple of days ago, I did a live stream playing two demos that are going to be a part of Steam Next Fest, or are rather currently a part of Steam Next Fest. For those who aren't aware, that is going on right now. Now, some of these demos are going to be available long term, and you'll be able to play them after Next Fest ends, but some of them are only going to be available for this 1 week period. So you definitely want to go ahead and check it out and see if there's some interesting games that you want to explore. In the video yesterday, we talked about Dispatch. I said I thought it was absolutely amazing. Strongly recommend you try that game out. It's shot up to be one of my most anticipated games of the year. But so has this one. The other game we played was the Necromancer's Tale, and I really enjoyed it. Now, let me give you a couple of notes up front that might be a little divisive among some of you. For me, both of these notes are good, but for many of you, you might hear this information and decide, you know what, this experience is not for me. So first and foremost, what you probably wouldn't think looking at this game, because it's obviously very indie, this game is fully voice acted. All of the main characters have their own voice and their own portrait, which is super cool. I can't imagine how much that costs, but it definitely does a lot to flesh out the experience and add more flavor to it. So right off the bat, that really draws you. And on top of that, there is a narrator for the game. And I don't know how much dialogue he voices throughout the game, but it was definitely a hefty chunk during character creation, which we'll talk about in just a bit. The other thing I want to note right up front is that this game is slow. This game really takes its time to develop the characters, develop the situation, lets you really just walk around and explore and take everything in. And I like it because it constantly feels like it's building towards something. It's building towards something massive that's going to hit like a truck once it starts happening. But for some of you, it might be too slow an experience. I live streamed the game for 2.5 hours and I fought once. Just being straight up. For some of you, that's going to be like, oh, no, there's no way. I don't like that. But then for other people like me, you love dialogue, you love story, you love intrigue, and you love a game that has an extremely unique premise and setting, the Necromancer's Tale is going to be right up your alley. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and dive into what this game is about. The Necromancer Tale actually doesn't start with you. It starts with your father, who performed a dark necromancy ritual in order to save his country, which was on the brink of losing a war. He raised the dead, and subsequently they were able to completely overrun the opposition, but this had the negative effect of associating your country forever with necromancy, which has drawn other rivals who are also fully vested into necromancy. And of course, it's drawn the attention of other countries who despise these kinds of tactics and now will never want to be aligned with you all again. Shortly after this ritual is complete, you are born and character creation begins. Character creation is a fascinating sequence because what it basically does is take many sequences that happen in your life and ask you, how did you deal with them and how do you feel about them? So, hey, this kid was trying to bully you. How did you deal with it? Shortly after you're born, your mother gets sick and your father decides it's best to send you away. How does that make you feel? How did you feel about school? What kind of career did you decide to go to? Etc. Over and over again, these questions get asked of you. And every single time you answer them, you're going to increase specific stats. There are 3 attributes for combat, 3 attributes for your mental stats, and then 3 attributes related to how good of a conversationalist you are. And the game does not tell you which answers are going to increase which points. So you kind of just have to go with the flow of this prologue. Now, the game does give you the option of skipping this, and at the very end, you can increase and decrease points the way you usually would. But personally, I found it much more satisfying and much more natural to just go through it and then just stick with the points that I had. Even though I had a couple of points in place where I might not necessarily use it, I felt really good about the character I created. It felt like me. It felt like I had a very direct hand in putting this character together. And that was so freaking cool that I just roll with it as is. Now, once you're finished with character creation, you're going to quickly find out that your father is dead and that you have to return home. Once back home, you discover that your mother is even more sick than she was before. Your family fortune has been completely depleted and destroyed. And it looks like, although you've been told that your father just got drunk and fell down and died, it's pretty apparent that something nefarious has happened instead and that he might have actually been murdered. From there, it's up to you to rebuild your family fortune, discover what has happened to your father, and at the same time become a master necromancer in your own right. Right next to your house is a massive map for a pretty fully fleshed out city that you can walk around in and explore and talk to people and pick up quests and things of that nature. I'm not going to show any of the footage for it because honestly, my frame started dropping like crazy when I was walking around in it. It's obvious the developer needs to do some work to stabilize that area. And so I just don't think the footage is going to look all that good. And that does bring up the main reservation that I have regarding this title. Supposedly it's going to come out in July. And based on what I experienced in this city, it's not going to be ready for a July release. So it'll be interesting to see if the developer holds to that or if it ends up needing to be pushed back some. But obviously, if you love narrative, if you love interesting premises, the writing throughout this game was phenomenal. I had so much fun talking to all of the different characters. It just seems like for those of us who really value story, this game is going to be great. And I think there's going to be a lot more combat later on down the line. I know I didn't experience it, but I felt like when I looked at Mortismo Gaming's breakdown of this game, he probably got further in the demo and he might have experienced more combat-like scenarios. So it's not a game where there's no combat at all. Again, it's a slow burn. It takes its time getting where it wants to go. Anyway, that's my video. I'm excited for the Necromancer's Tale. I really think you should check it out, give it a chance. We don't get enough great CRPGs, and this one might be really solid. I'll certainly be checking it out once I get the chance. I'll probably still be playing Rogue Trader Lex Imperialis if it comes out in early July, but maybe if it comes out late July, I'll be able to hop on as soon as it's released. Anyway, hope you all enjoy this video and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.